So, hello, Dolphin fans. Welcome to the last Miami Dolphins review of the year with my partner Don Strock over here. And we're not going away, by the way. We'll still have videos out during the summer and rest of the. You know what I'm trying to say. But I have a joke for you that doesn't have much of a punchline. But I have a joke. Three young men walked into their first playoff game. And the first young man went 16 of 21 for 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. And the second young man also went 16 for 21 with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. However, the third young man went 20 of 39 for 199 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. And to the punchline to the joke, so that I'm not just completely ripping on Tua, if you combined the quarterback ratings of Tua and Mahomes, they don't match either one of Stroud or Love.
Well, Stroud was playing in a dome.
Uh-huh. Right.
Love was playing in a dome.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. We
that
won't
being said.
Dude, I'm watching throws, Love, from Stroud too, but especially last night with Jordan Love. And I'm watching throws and I'm like, Tua can't do that. Tua can't. I mean, he's throwing 40-yard darts off his back feet. It's like Aaron Rodgers. It's like they cloned Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Now, because I've said before on this channel that Tua's arm is fine. And that is the word. His arm is fine. Like the people who say his arm's not strong enough to be a starting quarterback in the league or all this stuff. Yes, you guys are all out of your tree. His arm is fine. His arm is not CJ Stroud's. His arm's not Jordan Love's. His arm is fine. That's the exact word to describe him. Can he be a starting quarterback? Sure. Do I want him to starting quarterback of this team? I'm not so sure anymore. I'm not going to say no just yet, but there's starting to be less and less people to blame.
Right.
You certainly can't blame any of the weapons, whether it's wide receiver or running back. I'm not even going to say you could blame the tight end because a few times they throw to him, holy shit, Mike can catch the ball.
Yeah.
So I can't blame any of the weapons. Offensive line, sure. There's a couple more bodies that we could add to the line. I still never want to see Liam Eichenberg on the field. But they're not the problem that they were by any means.
Right.
Which means there's only left to blame two people, except one of them, that one being Mike McDaniel.
Right.
I don't know how much I can blame him because I don't know if he's calling goofy plays because he's goofy or if he's calling goofy plays because he feels he's limited by the only guy left to blame.
Right. Yeah, and that's exactly where I've landed too with McDaniel. It's just kind of like when you see some of the situations and when you see the guys that break down the film, you know what I mean? And you see how the play develops and that, Tua kind of had this option on some of the plays. You kind of want to look like, look, we blew Brian Flores out of town. And most of the reason why we did that is because he was kind of telling us some truths about Tua,
I will say about Brian Flores, even if he was right and it's looking like he's going to be right, you still don't then, because the GM went in another direction, go and actively try to sabotage that quarterback. Yeah. He was still immature and unprofessional and deserved to be fired. And it's still ridiculous that he called racism because he got fired by a black GM because he was trying to sabotage a brown quarterback. So you weren't fired because of racism.
Right.
No. The last thing he was fired for.
We totally agree there. The way he handled it, it's like certain political figures. You may not like how they say it, but they might have a point now and again. You know what I mean?
Right. And if he ends up being right, he ends up being right. But like I said, you can't do what he did.
Right. Now,
but if he does end up being right, regardless whether that was the right thing for him to do or not, we're in in this position that we're in now. We're potentially looking for another quarterback.
And I think the hardest part for Dolphin fans is that, like, everybody's talking about Tua, saying, well, why is everybody talking about Tua? It's like, well, you look at the defense. The final 2 weeks of the season, we had a Pro Bowl roster out for the year. Okay. I mean, a legitimate half of a Pro Bowl roster gone. And we hold Buffalo to 2 touchdowns. We held Kansas City to 2 touchdowns. And we don't even sniff victory. I mean, I guess we kind of were sniffing a tie against Buffalo. You know what I mean? If we, but so the defense, I mean, you could say, imagine if we had all our pieces and maybe we beat Kansas City 7-6. I don't know. But the problem is now, you know, like all these years we had Marino, was the defense. We had no defense. We had no running game, right? After Duper and Clayton left, you know, we had Irving Fryer, we had the Keith Jacksons, but we never had the amount of skill position guys that we had right now. You know what I mean?
Right. And it did suck seeing the graphic of 25 sacks sitting on IR.
Yeah.
That could have made a lot of difference. Besides having Kansas City score less points, I mean, if one of those sacks ends up being a fumble, that's a short field.
But
at least 3, maybe 7 comes out of that.
You could say that, but then Christian Wilkins takes the ball from Josh Allen and Buffalo and gives us the ball right back, and we did jack squat with it. So it's only as good. The turnovers are only as good as what the offense is going to do with them. You know what I mean?
And the way that game was going, if we had forced a fumble, they would have thrown a flag for forcing the fumble.
Which, as an aside, as a completely unrelated aside, I'm not blaming the refs, but I watched Jordan Love yesterday take at least 3 hits that were way worse than what Christian Wilkins did to Mahomes, and no flags. And my point there is not that they're out to get the Dolphins. My point there is I wonder how long before Jordan Love starts getting the Mahomes treatment, because he took several late little shoves. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it wasn't the refs in our game. The refs were bad all around for any potential Chiefs fans or, you know, trolling AFC fans are on here saying, oh, what about the holes that were missed and all that? No, there were some calls missed on the Dolphins. But the most egregious call in that game for either side, unfortunately, was towards, you know, latter parts of the game, right after Mahomes had the first intentional grounding.
Yeah.
It was either the very next play or 2 plays after. You could have either called another intentional grounding on Mahomes. You could have called holding on Kansas City. Right. But instead, they called the weakest fucking 2-hand touch late hit on the quarterback. And I'm like, bruh. You can choose this penalty or this penalty, but it definitely wasn't that one. Which Kansas City penalty do you want to call? The holding or another intentional grounding? You probably want to call the holding because that'd be embarrassing for Mahomes to have 2 straight intentional grounding plays.
Right.
Even though that's what he fucking did. But I'm okay with throwing the hold. That's fine. That's fine. Protect your top player in the league. Protect your face. Protect his image. But don't make up shit that wasn't there. Come on, man.
And the reality of it is, I put out a short yesterday, and it was Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp does a show with Ocho Cinco.
Yes, Nightcap.
Nightcap.
Good stuff.
And Sharp asks Ocho, he says, hey, let's put it this way. He says, what if you put Mahomes in Miami? And Mahomes had Tyreek and Waddle and Mose, and he goes on. And Ocho's like, man, that's not even fair. That's not even fair. Just ship the Lombardi Trophy to Miami right there. And it's true. And that's what's so frustrating is we don't need Tua to be Mahomes. We don't.
No, but the fact that
if Tua could be Ryan Tannehill,
that's all you're doing.
If Tua could be Ryan Tannehill right now, maybe we win that game, because maybe he throws a shitty interception, maybe he doesn't. But you can be damn well sure he would have been pushing the ball down the field at least.
Yeah, I mean, it would be unfair with Lamar. It would be unfair with Josh Allen. It would be unfair with Joe Burrow. But to your point with athleticism and everything, it might even be unfair with Anthony Richardson as long as he doesn't get hurt. You know what I mean? Like, There's a lot of guys who, like, with this offense, it could potentially be unfair. And maybe that's what it is with Tua. Maybe it's not that Tua can't be – he could definitely be a starting quarterback in the league. But maybe it's not that he can't be a winning quarterback in the league. Maybe he's just not the right guy for this offense, for this system. That's a possibility. And he was here before McDaniel, so it's not like McDaniel picked him. He's not McDaniel's guy, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you're just not the right fit, you're not the right fit. We run X, you run Y. Trade him to a Y system, or he signs there as a free agent.
I think you could win with Tua the way Russell Wilson won in Seattle. You've got an obscenely elite defense. You've got a ridiculously powerful offensive line, and you're just pounding the ball. Now, of course, Tua can't really make plays with his legs, even the way Wilson did. And that's really the hardest thing. When you, like, just a couple of those, forget the arm strength.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of those throws Jordan Love made yesterday, it was just simple sliding out into the pocket and then coming back, and you're watching his footwork, and you're like, Tua cannot do that. He just can't do that. Now, I don't know.
Denver and Sean Payton's offense.
Yeah.
Drew Brees wasn't running around.
Right. Well, there's running around, and then there's moving around in the pocket. I talked about it in one of the videos that
Drew did move in the pocket.
What's that?
And Drew did move in the pocket. So
yeah, I mean, if you watch Marino's old stuff, everybody, Marino couldn't run. But Marino knew exactly when and where to take those 2 steps up into the pocket to buy himself that extra second. And that's all you need is that extra second. And I was watching TD, one of the Dolphin guys. And, he's been harping on it, and he's not wrong. It's like all these teams have to do is play cover 2 and press. Okay? Because you got the safeties back, so that's going to take away the deep pass. And when you press the receivers at the line, it takes away that short, immediate first read for Tua. And at that point, we all have seen it. I mean, he's bad. Once you get him past this first read, he looks like he could be elite to holy crap, it's Zach Wilson. Fast.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I'll give some Tua haters credit for. The people who were saying all this stuff about the arm strength, you didn't know what you were talking about. I'm not gonna say you don't know football. I'm saying you didn't know what you were talking about in this scenario. The people who were talking about Tua not making reads, and they were out there in the comments. I keep saying, send in your resumes to the NFL. You should probably be doing this because it took people who are doing this a few years to figure that out. Right. So good on you, and you were right.
So what do we do?
He doesn't make the read.
I mean, that's the thing.
What are we doing?
What should we do?
I keep saying it. This quarterback class is super deep. There are quarterbacks who would fall to us even if we didn't move. Who knows if we did move?
Right.
I would draft a guy now.
Yeah.
Put Tua's feet to the fire. If that's not going to light a fire under his ass, what will? I don't have to worry about it because it's the last year of his contract. He can go figure it out somewhere else. Yeah. Maybe he and Pete Carroll do it up in Tennessee. I don't know.
Right.
But I would draft a guy. Let McDaniel draft his guy because I think as far as the quarterback coach, are you getting rid of one or either? I think it's either going to be you're only getting rid of Tua or you're getting rid of both. I don't see a scenario where you only get rid of Mike McDaniel and you're still with Tua. And you had Tua with Brian Flores, and you had Tua with Mike McDaniel, and then you have Tua with whoever the next coach is. I don't see that. So it's either both of them or a new quarterback. So I would draft somebody this year. Right. I don't know necessarily if I would move up or not. People who would fall to us without moving at all, guys are like Bo Nix, JJ McCarthy. Right. If that doesn't make it move for you, then we got to talk about combining assets and moving up. But there's a guy we're not going to get because I have a feeling I know exactly who's going to get him. Picture this nightmare scenario, and we might be switching out both people at this point. Buffalo's still Buffalo. Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers is healthy next year and stays healthy. So imagine what the Jets are with that. I am convinced that the Patriots are going to draft Jaden Daniels from LSU. Yeah, you talk about an athletic guy who extends plays. And they have about $70 million in cap space too. So what happens if the Dolphins are still pretty good? Look, we're the Bengals next year. We're still pretty good, but somebody's got to come in last place.
Right. Yeah.
Now, we come in fourth place, you're swapping out both guys.
Right. No, and that's not – I mean, look, Patriots have a good defense. Jets have a good defense. If they ever had an adequate offense, they could win 9-10 games. And we was only a one hopscotch game away from only winning 9 games. You know what I mean? I mean, it's the line between 8 and 11 win teams is so – it's a play here. It's a penalty there. It's a drop. And that's the difference. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. So, no, we totally agree about drafting a guy. I suppose, I guess if you're going, well, I mean, I guess you got to move on from Mike White because if you're going to draft a guy, there's only so many spots in the quarterback room. You know what I mean? And I guess if not you, but if the team is saying we don't have any interest in developing Skylar Thompson, then you're drafting a guy. I would still like to get in a legit veteran like Fitzpatrick was. You know what I mean?
Yes,
or like
yes. I'm with you. Let's sign Jameis Winston.
Really?
Yes. I thought you were going to laugh at me for that.
No, that wasn't a name I was expecting to hear, but that's okay.
He's about to be a free agent.
Right. Very interesting.
And he's got a deep ball.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about that.
And he certainly improvises. I don't like not be a free agent.
That is one way to describe it.
But if you want to talk about that play, he's also an excellent teammate, and literally everybody in the locker room loves him. And that's probably why he'll end up staying in New Orleans, because if people think Dennis Allen lost the locker room now,
right?
Because the players aren't going to see it as, oh, Jameis is free agent and he left. They're going to see it as they didn't bring him back because of getting Jamal a touchdown, because that's how the Saints see it. Saints see it as Jamal Williams had 17 touchdowns the year before, has 0, and that includes 3 games where Alvin Kamara was suspended and Jamal Williams was the starting running back. He's just trying to get his guy a touchdown after he led the league year before. Imagine if Mostert had 0 touchdowns in week 18. We'd probably be trying to get Mostert a touchdown just because.
Well, the difference there is McDaniel would have had them run the victory formation and run the ball in on purpose. Okay.
Some people may question the formation of it, but the players don't. And the point is the only opinion that matters is the players in the locker room. So if they were to let him walk and let that locker room blow up, I'm just saying the guy is a veteran. He's been under Breeze and Peyton now. Like, he's a different guy than what he was in Tampa. If everybody wants to say the 30-30 and all that stuff, he's a different guy now. He's gone through more stuff in life, and he's got a deep ball, and he's a great leader, and he's a great teammate. And obviously I'm going to advocate for the Seminole, but I think
I understand the bias, but that's okay. There ain't no quarterbacks out there. You know, like, it's not like back in the late 80s when it was Kosar or Testaverde or Toretta, and you know what I mean? There's
and I consider myself a fair Seminole fan, and by that, like, I feel like I like Gator players. Like, I love Anthony Richardson, and I actually liked Tyler Van Dyke, and that's looking like a bad take now. I blame Mario Cristobal though, but I was ready to start collecting Tyler Van Dyke rookie cards because I thought he was going to be something, but never mind.
Yeah. Well, all we can do is go to bed every night and put a little cookie under our pillow and pray to the cookie that they don't give him a deal, that they pick up the 5th-year option and they say, look, bro, I mean, come on. All right. You know, I mean, because I'm waiting. I haven't heard it yet. Of course, I'm not on Twitter very much anymore, but I'm waiting to hear. I guess they can't now. I was waiting to hear the narrative that was just Tua's first playoff game, but CJ Stroud and Jordan Love just shredded that shit. So
no, and I think the Cowboys game could have potentially helped us as far as not giving Tua a bag. because they gave Dak that bag.
Right.
And look at where they are and how limited they are, and their ceiling is one and done in the playoffs because, okay, where are you going to plug the hole at? You're giving Dak $40-45 million.
Right.
There's nowhere to really plug the hole at. You can give Mahomes that much money because Mahomes wins the Super Bowl with Juju as his number one receiver.
Right.
That's why you can give him that money.
Yeah.
So I think we're kind of safe as far as the summer goes. Now, if Tua balls out and the Dolphins go on a deep playoff run, then he will have earned the bag. But if we don't give him back this summer and it don't work out during the season, then I definitely think we don't have to worry about it, which is why I keep saying I would draft the rookie now.
Well, but I like your idea about Winston because, look, I mean, this team is ready to win now. They have enough, especially on defense, especially if we're healthy. I mean, you got to give some credit though to Fangio. What he was able to do, especially against Kansas City, to hold them to only 26 points. I mean, there's dudes out there that Reed? Who the hell is that? I mean, guys that literally just plucked off the street, and somehow we had a functional defense. It wasn't like, oh God, it wasn't like guys. I mean, the worst guys on the field were the guys that were already here with Cater and Eli Apple.
Because we weren't just losing like that list of people wasn't just starters. Like Van Ginkel wasn't a starter. Like we were losing depth guys. He should be a starter, but we were losing depth guys like along with that. Like we were getting down to dudes who were on their Xbox. Like, yo, come on out here. Now, sometimes that works out. Like for Cleveland, it did up until a couple days ago, but it worked out for us up until a couple days ago.
Yeah. Well, we definitely, to talk something other than to a defensive side of the ball, we need some depth in the secondary, and I will not be unhappy if I never see Duke Riley play again for us. He should not be behind Jerome Baker. He's so bad he makes us miss Jerome Baker like badly. Okay.
Right.
And Jerome Baker is a nice player, okay, but you've got to have something more than Duke was just getting smoked out there every which way. Cater did not have a good year. How bad can Cam Smith be? I don't understand. Right? I don't understand.
Still doesn't make it out there.
I know. I know. I don't understand that at all. And I guess in terms of quarterback, I guess they figured the bloom was off the rose with Skylar Thompson. I mean, I liked him. I don't know. I didn't, I'm not a quarterback.
I don't think it's necessarily they don't like him. Like a backup quarterback is an important position. Like you can have that same guy there for 10 plus years. And that like, if you need someone for a game or two, he's going to get the job done. I mean, just because a guy has a ceiling on where they are in the depth chart doesn't mean, like I would love for Skylar Thompson to spend his entire career in Miami as QB2.
Yeah. But remember, he's 3 now. And that's the thing that confused me, why they brought in Mike White to bump him. I didn't. I have to, after
we're talking about bringing in Jameis. So I mean,
well, yeah, but that's a different situation. Jameis is more of a possible if you get to game 8 next year and we're 4-4 and we still can't beat a winning team, you put Jameis in. The worst is you stay the same, but maybe something happens.
And that's the same with drafting a rookie. That doesn't push Skylar further down. It's with the idea that Tua might be potentially out the door. This rookie is QB1, Skylar's QB2. So, all right, I get that.
Yeah, but the bottom line is I see me, and this is back to the beginning. It's hard to know how to judge McDaniel, because when you watch Tua after it's 4 years, and there are some things that he does well, but there's very few things that he does well, and there's not much else there. So what exactly is McDaniel supposed to do? You can't even like again, I'm not saying I wanted Tannehill back, but at least like when Tannehill, the offensive line sucks. Okay, roll him out. You know what I mean? Move him around, do something. But with Tua, it's if it's not in this exact box with this exact structure and it doesn't go all well, it's just and so looking at it from McDaniel's point of view, I'm kind of like, well, I don't know what I would tell him to do differently other than run the ball more. But they know Tua is so limited that if they press the man, they can just stack the rest of the box, stop the run. I mean, it's
the crazy thing is weather forced we were saying all week, like weather's going to force them to run the ball more, and it didn't.
Dude, McDaniel gives the interview at halftime. We need to have more time of possession. We need to run the ball more. We need to extend drives. Comes out, pass, punt. Yeah, exactly.
Is he goofy because he's goofy, or is he goofy because of Tua? But you know what? That would be goofy because he's goofy. Because even if it's because of Tua, you run the ball to keep it away from Tua.
Well, yeah,
so he's goofy because he's goofy. We solved it. He's goofy because he's goofy.
Yeah.
At least in that instance, he was.
In that instance, yeah. No, I know. It's, and it's just such a shame because the rest of the team, and we've got the pieces, especially if the defense is healthy. You know, everybody's got their cater who's in their weak spots here or there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But you look around the rest of the AFC, and this will be the last thing I say. The most likely Final Four quarterbacks are Stroud, Allen, Mahomes, and Jackson. And Tua ain't sniffing any one of those four guys in terms of being able to make plays outside of the perfect structure.
Next year, Burrow's healthy. Rodgers is healthy. Trevor Lawrence stays healthy.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. Oh, well. Last question. I have a, they asked this on the chat last night, and I don't know if you get a good go. Tua for Dak, straight up, yes or no?
You know what that would be? That would be giving Tua the bag. Because if you have Dak here.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
That's giving Tua the bag.
That's giving Tua the bag. I like that.
Because they're basically the same player. That's why that conversation came up. There's a lot of similarities between not only them as players, but the teams.
Yeah.
Like, Dolphins kind of are the Cowboys of the AFC, and Tua kind of is the Dak of the AFC. But so that's the thing. If we're even having this discussion because they're pretty much the same player, no, because that's just giving Tua the bag. I mean, it's giving Tua a 2018 bag. You're adjusting for inflation to your way a little bit, but it's still giving Tua the bag.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say, I'm happy that the Lions won. I'm very happy that the Lions won, but bruh, that was pass interference.
Oh, man. You mean the Rams didn't get a call? Well, they didn't get a pass interference call?
I mean, the fact that the refs helped out the Lions, that is 2024 is going to be crazy.
Okay? Hey, it starts with the Rams getting karma. The little bit of a Saints fan in me is happy about that.
Yeah, I'm sure. All right, Dolphin fans. It remains to be seen what's going to happen. It's going to be a long offseason. I'm not even going to go near Twitter, man. Oh, my God. I just can't imagine. Yeah, it's just like, because I still see people. I mean, there's fewer people. But there's, like you said, like you started off by saying, there's no more excuses now for Tua. You know what I mean? You either
not anybody else left to blame. There's no excuses. And I was the guy hammering it the whole time. Like, do you not see how pathetic this offensive line is? In fact, the one a couple years ago was literally ranked statistically the worst in history.
Yeah.
Like y'all don't see this? Like, y'all don't see Devontae Parker as wide receiver 1? Like,
right.
But now all that shit's been cleaned up.
Yep.
It's kind of the same.
It's kind of the same. It's sad, but it's kind of the same. Yeah. I think I looked at the stats yesterday. I don't remember off the top of my head the rest of it, but I know against winning teams this year, including Kansas City, it was 6 touchdowns and 7 interceptions for Tua. And it was like, I think six games. It was like 6 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. So
Mike Tyson was amazing until he got in there with Lennox Lewis or Evander Holyfield, like that. And I love Mike Tyson. That's not a knock on him. That is the truth about his career is that he ate the jabronis alive. And those are the guys who would knock out in the first round or the third round. That's
First
where all the
30
highlights
seconds.
came from. But when it was another guy at his level, another Tyson, when it was Evander Holyfield, when it was Lennox Lewis, he lost those.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's
and Buster
true.
Douglas is the Tennessee game.
The Jesus Christ. I remember that too. I remember that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right, Dolphin fans. Trey, thank you for doing this every game this year with me. I know we missed the game. That was my bad because of the migraines. So appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, man, and we'll be back around. We're not going to wait to the end. We got shit to say, right? We got shit to say. So we just got to get Trey to get his stuff out of storage, so he's got something on his wall.
It's getting out next week.
Next week.
I mean, it really is. I got the truck rented.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But
have fun in the 20-degree weather driving.
It's not going to be 20 next week. We only have this for 3 days.
Okay, that's not too bad. That's
supposed to be like this in Texas, man.
I hear you. I know. All right, Dolphin fans, appreciate all the support, and we'll see you around the corner real soon.